everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Lunch Table Sports podcast. And today we're doing a little NHL Finals podcast where they played game one happened already. Colorado won, but we give our predictions and our Conn Smythe winner predictions and stuff like that. But first, let's recap the NBA Finals here a little bit. What were your thoughts on the final two games of the series? I know my Celtics lost, and your prediction was right, but what are your thoughts on the end of it?
Yeah, I thought it was definitely kind of crazy how it came to a close in that game six. I thought the score would be a little bit closer than it was. I actually did have in our prediction video, I thought the Celtics would win this game and the Warriors would win in seven. But I am kind of shocked that the Warriors won in six in Boston. The Celtics had an early lead to start that game, and the Warriors just kind of took it from there. I mean, it was the Steph Curry show in that game. You can't not be happy for the guy. Regardless, obviously Celtics fans can be a little saltier, but you can't not be happy for the guy. Won his first Finals MVP, and I think it's safe to say that he might be the best point guard of all time.
Yeah, that was a topic of discussion for us in the last video, and I think it's safe to say now that, in my opinion at least, I think he is. And yeah, as I said, I know my Celtics lost, but I do like Steph Curry. I think he's a good guy. Good player, obviously, great player. But the rest of the Warriors team, I hate every single player on that team besides Steph Curry. So you can say I'm a little salty, but we'll move on. I think it was
I think you got to show some Jordan Poole love, Michigan guy.
Yeah, maybe, but I think the Celtics, they played well. They had a great season, and we'll be back. We'll be back next year. I think they're a piece or two away from being a team that can beat a team like the Warriors next year. So we'll see what they do this offseason, but I'm excited for next year. But moving on here, we got our NHL Finals preview. And to start off, we can recap game one. Colorado won 4-3 in OT. Forget who scored the OT winner here. I'm trying to look. Burakovsky, that's right. Burakovsky from Comfer and Nichushkin. I didn't see the end of this game. I kind of fell asleep like halfway through. Start of the third period-ish, but from what I saw, it was a pretty good game. Back and forth, obviously, went to OT. I think historically, or at least throughout these playoffs, Tampa hasn't been good in game one, but they usually figure things out. But I think that was not the case in this game one. It was a very even game. And if you're a Lightning fan, I don't think you have anything to worry about. I think Tampa played well, but this is going to be a long series. And I'll say my prediction right now just to get it out there. I think Colorado's going to win in seven. I think Colorado's just a wagon of a team. They've stopped everybody so far in these playoffs. They kind of beat up on Edmonton last round, who had a really good series against Calgary the series before. I think that said a lot. They kind of locked down McDavid. They shut down Draisaitl. I think was hurt a little bit to be fair, but I think Colorado's just a wagon of a team, and I don't see them losing this finals at all. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely agree with you there. The Avalanche are going to win. I'm going to cut it down a game. I got the Avalanche in six. The Avalanche has kind of been on a roll this postseason. I mean, in the conference finals, I think they won in what? They sweep them. They won in four games. Yeah, I mean, that's very impressive for that team. I think this will definitely be a very entertaining Stanley Cup to watch. I like both these teams a lot too. The Lightning, I know I got the Blackhawks hat on here, but I am a Red Wings fan. Stevie Y built the Lightning, so I'm pretty excited to see what he can do with Detroit next. But that Tampa Bay team is very, very talented, full of vets who have been in this position before. So I don't think you can just write off the Lightning, but I do think that the Avalanche will win in six.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up there at the end. I don't think you can ever count out Tampa Bay. They got the best goalie in the world. They got three forwards who I think are, you could say, top 10 forwards in the world, and they got one of the best defensemen. But that being said, I think Colorado, besides the goaltending, I think they haven't beat out at every position. I think Cale Makar is better than Victor Hedman. I think McKinnon's been on a tear these playoffs. They got Kadri, Landeskog, Rantanen. They got all these guys, and I think it's their time. I think it's been a long time coming for McKinnon, and I think Tampa's had a good run, but I think that the Avs it's their time. So, yeah, I agree with what you said though. But next thing here, I just want to ask, who do you think if you had to pick Conn Smythe winner for the Avalanche, who do you got?
Yeah, I got McCarr. He's been on a roll this playoffs. He's been their most consistent guy. Obviously you got McKinnon, very talented player, very good player. But if I had to put my money on it, I'd probably go him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I got McCarr. He's been crazy in these playoffs. I forget the exact amount of points he's got. Over 20 though.
22.
I don't know. Yeah, 22. That's right. And then I don't know. I think he's in my opinion right now by far the best defenseman in the world right now. But I was gonna ask you this too, another kind of debate question. I know you don't know probably as much as me on this, but in my opinion, I think McCarr is the second best player in the world right now. I think it's McDavid, him, and Matthews in the top three, and then you got McKinnon right there in the top five too. But I think he's the second best player in the world, all positions. I just think he's that dynamic and he's irreplaceable. And I think, yeah. So what do you think about that? Who? I know you followed a little bit more this season, but who would you rather have, Matthews or McCarr?
Yeah, I think if you were to ask me this question in the regular season, I probably would have said Austin Matthews. But at this point in the playoffs, McCarr's really proven himself, proven that he can be top two player in the world. So I'm gonna have to say McCarr right now.
Yeah, that's a good point too that you brought up. Regular season, I think Matthews is going to win the Hart this year. He was the best player in the league regular season. He had 60 goals, but the Leafs just they can't get it done in the playoffs. So just kind of talking about. I know this isn't completely final stuff, but it's fun to talk about this kind of stuff. But yeah, moving on here. I think what's your prediction for game two tomorrow night? Who do you got winning game two?
Yeah, game two, I think the Avalanche comes out on top. They're playing at home. I think Colorado has proven to be kind of a harder place to play. Definitely got some fiery fans. I'm gonna give you some other predictions too for on down. I think Colorado gets up 2-0. I think game three though, Lightning comes back, even or closens the lead to 2-1. I don't think they're a team that's going to go down more than 2-0 in this series. And then I think they'll win again for it to be 2-2 at home. Then I think Avalanche are going to win game five at home. And then I think they're going to win game six in Tampa Bay. So that's my kind of prediction going onward for this series.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Just kind of flip flop, and I think it'll go seven. I think I would agree with all your picks. I think Colorado wins game two. I think Tampa wins both games back at home, and I think Colorado wins game five. Tampa wins game six, and then I think game seven, Colorado gets it done at home, and I think that would be really cool. They haven't won a cup at home since I want to say Ray Bourque won it. I forget what year, but I think that city. It's been a long time coming. There's a lot of bad years in Colorado, in the not so distant past. Like it wasn't too long ago that this team was bottom of the league, getting high draft picks, and now they're the best team in the league. And I think that goes to show you that Joe Sakic deserves a lot of credit too. Their GM, president of hockey operations down in Colorado. He's built this team kind of from the ground up. Started with McKinnon, and Landeskog and these guys, and they traded for Kadri, which I think the Leafs are really regretting right now. They traded or not traded. They drafted McCarr, who I want to say was I forget exactly what overall he went, maybe fifth, which is a steal for him at 5. He should have went 1 in that draft. And just all these guys, they traded for Kemper. They got Kemper in net. They got Nichushkin. They got all these young guys. I think a lot of the credit goes to Joe Sakic, and I know these players deserve a lot of credit too. But I think Joe Sakic is not to be underlooked when you talk about guys like Steve Yzerman and GMs like that who have built these teams, and who are cup contenders now. I think Joe Sakic deserves to be at the top of that discussion.
Yeah, so I know we talked about a lot about the Avalanche side and if they're going to win, which we both think they are. But I want to give a little insight too. If Tampa Bay wins, I know they have the best goalie in the world for sure, no doubt about it. Goalies are so valuable in the playoffs, probably the most important position in the playoffs. But I think if I were to give a Conn Smythe award, I'd give it to Kucherov. Kucherov has 24 points in these playoffs. He's been absolutely incredible on the offensive end and defensive end. He's been one of, if not the most valuable player probably in these playoffs between him and Valesky. But I just want to go out and say I think Kucherov definitely has a big chance to win it.
Yeah, I agree. I know, just like you said, we've been talking about the Colorado a lot, but Tampa deserves a lot of credit too. They're trying to three-peat here, which is crazy to say.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone expected them to get back here, and it's credit to these guys. They know how to win, and just like you said, they got the best goalie in the world. It's so important. He's like a brick wall back there, and it just, I think, provides just a confidence booster for that whole team when you know you got a guy like Vasilevsky back there who's going to make the saves. But I would agree with you. I think Kucherov, if Lightning do win this, I think Kucherov deserves the Finals MVP. Or I don't know. I could go back and forth on this. I think Vasilevsky won it last year, won the Conn Smythe last year, if I'm not mistaken on that. But I think it should go to Kucherov. Just like you said, he's got 24 points in these playoffs. He's been their best forward. When Braden Point got hurt, he had to step up, and he did. He's been great for Tampa, leading that offensive side. I think Stamkos has been good too, but he's getting older and he's not as dynamic as Kucherov is. And that all being said, I think Kucherov definitely deserves it if the Lightning do win.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just looking at the regular season stats, I think Stamkos too might be a little underlooked too in these playoffs. Maybe he hasn't been as dominant as he was in the regular season. Put up 106 points in the regular season, which is very good. But yeah, I definitely think the Lightning might be being talked about as less as they maybe should have, especially they have a chance to three-peat. You don't see that very often. So I think the Avalanche being so dominant that they are, Lightning might deserve a little more credit.
Yeah, that's totally true. Stamkos probably had one of the most 100 or quiet 100-point seasons I've seen ever. Probably, like, no one's talking about him. And he is getting older, just like I said, but that's not slowing him down at all. He's still getting it done. He's still scoring goals. He's still great on the power play. And that one-timer spot, kind of like Ovechkin for the Cavs. But I think, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say something about him and Ovechkin comparison, but I'll take that back. But yeah, I agree with that. I think Tampa, they weren't as dominant in the regular season as they have been in the past, but I think they show you that it doesn't matter. There's teams like Florida who win the President's Trophy and get swept in the second round. Tampa just knows how to win in the playoffs. They've been here before, and I think even losing game one here, they don't get worried or they don't get down. They bounce back, and they're so good in at games after loss too. We all know Vasilevsky's stats and everything in games after a loss. They don't really lose after losses. So I think if you're betting on this game, or if I was, definitely, you could definitely pick Tampa here to win game two and even up this series. But just like we said, we got Colorado.
Yeah, that's it for me. If you have anything else you want to add on, anything else you want to discuss?
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, kind of a final point here. This next game, what's your score prediction for game two?
Yeah. So obviously went to OT last game, close game. I think you're gonna see this kind of the same pattern throughout these playoffs. I'm not gonna go on a limb and say it will be OT, but if I had to say a score, I'm going a little high scoring here. I'm going 6-5 at Avies.
I like that. I'm actually, I just talked myself out of the Avalanche pick. I'm gonna go Tampa game two. I think Tampa wins 2-1 in overtime in game two, and I think Palat scores the game winner in OT. So yeah, but that being said, kind of wraps up the NHL finals preview ish and recap of the first game and our quick NBA finals recap. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah, see ya.